The Ontario government is mulling over a proposal that would permit hunters to cull double-crested cormorants. The birds have gained a reputation of being gluttonous and destructive, but just a few decades ago, the migratory bird was nearly wiped out. Jim Ludwig has dedicated his life to studying birds in and around the Great Lakes. On this May morning, he's headed to Middle Sister Island. It's part of the Pelee Archipelago in the western basin of Lake Erie, and just north of the Canada-US border. It is considered to be the most undisturbed of these islands. Gulls, herons, and American white pelicans, a relatively new species to these waters, call this island home. But that's not what the 78-year-old is here for. He's here for double-crested cormorants. They're the most common cormorant in North America. They have black feathers, a visible orange-yellow patch on their throat, and bright green-blue eyes. They're prolific hunters, diving to depths of 25 feet or more. They eat about a half a kilogram or a pound of fish a day. Beyond Middle Sister Island, double-crested cormorants have been a resident of Lake of the Woods since the late 1700s. The earliest modern nesting record for cormorants in the Great Lakes is in Lake Superior in 1913, and they're considered a native species. This year, Ludwig is studying to find out if there's a difference between cormorants in the upper lakes and the lower lakes, and one way he's doing that is by measuring the size of their eggs.
What I'll do is I'll calculate the volume of each egg, and we compare that with the ones up north. I've been measuring eggs of all those species, and they're a lot smaller than they were in 1985 to 1995 when I was doing a lot of work on them.
He was also on the search for sick and dying cormorants on this island.
Last year there were 335, so there was something going on last year. We still don't know what it is.
Ludwig explains cormorants are very susceptible to a virus called Newcastle disease. It attacks the bird's central nervous system, leaving them unable to fly and even stand. It can affect a wide variety of avian species, both wild and domestic. While the risks of contracting the virus is minimal in humans, the virus is deadly for cormorants, and it's not the first threat the birds have faced.
1947, DDT gets introduced, tremendous quantities. Cormorants, eagles, peregrine falcons, all of these species that happen to have a sensitivity to eggshell thinning went into very steep declines.
According to Environment Canada, the number of nesting pairs decreased by nearly 90%, from roughly 900 in the early 50s to just 125 in 1973 from toxic chemicals.
As that problem cleared up, it allowed
Ludwig, seen here in this field report from 1989, studied the effects of chemicals like PCBs and DDT in the upper Great Lakes.
They express themselves as birth defects. The most common, a swelling of tissues around the head, neck, and abdomen, called edema.
That would be enough to probably prevent this guy from hatching.
In some cases, birds develop deformities in their beaks.
This bird has been left by its mother to die. With a twisted bill, it cannot feed itself.
Now we move forward into the 70s. The DDT's been banned. Cormorants start to come back, and when they come back, they find something that wasn't there in 1947, and that's the alewife.
This invasive fish spread through the Great Lakes and is an ideal size for cormorants to eat, which contributed to their population rebound to such an extent that wildlife officials have had to manage their numbers through culls, destroying eggs, and removing nests. And in 2018, the province proposed a hunting season. Currently, cormorants are protected under the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Act.
No one wants to play God. And anyone who cares about any kind of wildlife, last thing we want to do is play God with things.
David Clark is the director of TUFA, Toronto Urban Fishing Ambassadors. The community group represents over 2,400 anglers and helps to promote recreational fishing within the Greater Toronto Area.
The cormorants are decimating our inshore fishery. at first, and we've lost already our perch, our rock bass, and sunfish.
We got to go walleye fishing.
Yeah, you want to go? Go out on your...
We usually do family fishing events. It's usually directed towards kids, and it's done at stormwater ponds where the water's shallow. It's a safer situation, and they're usually novice fisheries there. The last 2 or 3 years, most of our family fishing events are accompanied with cormorants. And at first, kids are really excited about the birds. They see the birds catching fish, and they point that out just like they do the turtles and stuff, and they're pretty excited about it. But by the end of the event, the birds have caught way more fish than our whole group of 200 kids fishing.
Anglers in and around Lake Ontario are competing with one of the largest cormorant colonies in North America. They nest at Tommy Thompson Park near the Toronto Islands and have been here since 1990. According to 2018 figures, there were over 14,000 nesting pairs in the colony.
170 days a year, cormorants are in the GTA area, and they're eating a pound of fish a day, so it's 170 pounds of fish each cormorant is taking.
Being migratory birds, cormorants stay in the areas from early March to about September. They nest usually atop trees, rocks, and on the ground near bodies of water, and lay 3 to 4 eggs. At Tommy Thompson Park, the bird's acidic guano, or droppings, has been well documented. Over the years, the tree canopy in the area has eroded, and the trees they once nested on have been destroyed. Officials managed to get cormorants to nest off trees. Last year, 75% of the 14,000 nests were on the ground. The population here, though, is not managed, meaning officials don't oil eggs or kill them.
It's kind of an apocalyptic scene because everything's dead. There's nothing there but the blackbirds in the nest.
It was just one of the concerns David and his group included in their feedback to the province on the hunting season. The other, that the hunting proposal will not have a significant enough impact to control and decrease the number of cormorants in the GTA. That's because hunting isn't allowed in areas like Tommy Thompson Park. The current proposal would list the cormorant as a game bird and allow anyone with a valid license to shoot and kill up to 50 cormorants a day from March to December. While highly unlikely, that would allow one hunter to kill over 13,000 of them in a single year. Cormorants have no value on the commercial market, and their fishy taste isn't popular among many hunters.
I don't like to see things just killed for the sake of killing. You know, I'd rather see the controls as far as oiling their eggs and destroying their nests, and, you know, I'd rather do it that way. But drastic measures need to be taken at this point.
Jim Ludwig doesn't mince words on his opinion about the proposed hunting season on cormorants.
This is probably the most boneheaded thing I have seen proposed in a long, long time. Suppose you allowed a bunch of hunters to go out there. Well, there's white pelicans nesting on the island, there's herring gulls, and if they're going to go around that island shooting cormorant, they're going to upset those species too and keep them away from their chicks off their nests.
His suggestion for places like Middle Sister Island? Let nature do its thing.
If you just leave them alone, I think the eagles are going to solve the problem. A, it's a natural solution, and B, you're not putting people at risk, and you're not putting any other species at risk. There is not a single person alive today that has seen these waters in a stable condition from an ecological standpoint. Change is the status of the Great Lakes. It's always changing.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.